just like children scream sleeping, we could dream this night away. Rising, let's go dancing in the light.
And now we're going to do a song by a little lesser known singer-songwriter. This one's an original.
Well, they've come from California, Texas, Colorado, Pennsylvania, Carolina, New Jersey, Montana, Minnesota, Arizona. I've got good friends in all of these places, though I rarely get to see their faces. Hey, 5-0, where did all the time go? Chasing tennis balls and sitting on work calls. I can't speed time up, I can't slow it down. Places that are cities now, to me they're still lonely towns. Hey, 5-0, where did all the time go? I've got a daughter, she's 5'11", though I'd swear to me she's still only 7. She starts high school in September. For me it was like yesterday, I still remember. Hey, 5-0, where did all the time go? I've got crowns inside of my mouth, and soon they'll be sticking a camera way down south. Gonna need a hip replacement before I check into the basement. Hey, 5-0, where did all the time go? So come join in my party, help me sing this song. I'm gonna have fun tonight, don't tell me that I'm wrong. So I stop counting the years as I hold back the tears. Tell you all that I love you and thank you for coming to. Hey, 5-0, where did all the time go? Hey, 5-0, where did all the time go?
Happy birthday, Seth.
Happy birthday,
You
Seth.
are the man. We love you, brother.
You rock.
Happy birthday, Seth.
Happy birthday!
Happy birthday, brother.
Happy birthday, Seth. We love you and wish you the best. Cheers.
Cheers to you, Seth. You're the best.
Big, big!
Happy 50th birthday. We wish you all the best for a fantastic 50th year.
Happy birthday.
But I can't believe you're 50. That means that I must be 54. It's just disturbing.
Oh yeah. All right.
Michael
Go
has
Hoyas. Happy birthday, bitch, from the Hoyas.
Have a great birthday. Enjoy. Keep on playing.
keep on watching.
Thank you, Paul. All right, please give a very warm Club SLS welcome for Mr. Robert Sokolow, my dad, who has a toast to give.
Well, what a remarkable guy you are, Seth. I am so proud of you. And the rest of you, friends and family. You all made the effort to be here because of your affection for Seth. He was born in the wee hours of July 6, 2021. I was at Seth's mother's shoulder, Liz's shoulder, in Yale New Haven Hospital. For a father to be allowed into the delivery room was a big deal. Our obstetrician was breaking ground. When Seth's brother David was born 2.5 years earlier, I was also breaking ground, just standing in the doorway. We've come a long way. Fast forward 16 years and I'm in the passenger seat as Seth learns to drive a car. There's a particular steep section of a street, a few driveways long, in Princeton, where Seth practiced releasing the clutch gently enough to start on a hill, over and over and over. We must have practiced that action 20 times in a row. Determination, thy name is Seth. A father in the delivery room, a car with a clutch. I'm deliberately choosing details that capture some history. Next is a movie, Kramer versus Kramer, where Dustin Hoffman becomes my mentor. It was 1979. Seth was 7, and my marriage to his and David's mother was coming apart. What sort of parenting lay ahead for me? Nearly all fathers in divorces became weekend parents in those days. But times were changing. Kramer versus Kramer spoke directly to my generation. It is about a work-focused father who becomes a single parent of his 6-year-old son. As I recall, Dustin Hoffman burned the food he was cooking for his son, was inept in other ways as well, but generally loved being a dad, and his son was loving it too. The women's movement was underway, and gender assumptions were being challenged from all directions. Joint custody was a new flavor, a new possibility. For a full decade, I was a 50-50 co-parent. Seth, David, and I sometimes called ourselves the Three Musketeers. So thank you, women's movement, thank you, Dustin Hoffman, and thank you, Liz, for making co-parenting possible. Now let's acknowledge 2 rushing rivers that run through Seth's life. The first is the European language river, French, Spanish, German, and now Czech. Seth's love of languages is intimately connected with his love of communicating with people. Seth, along with several of you here tonight, spent a year in Freiburg, a city chosen by Seth because it was close enough to the French-German border for him to be able to improve his skills in 2 languages at once. Seth these days is learning Czech. He is confronting the reality that learning a new language is easiest for a small child and gets steadily harder with age. But Seth is calling on that same determination that got him to master the clutch. He will succeed, and yet another European world will open itself to him to be shared with Helena. Seth's other river, of course, is his tennis river. I want to finish. Okay, of course, he has derived so much pleasure from following tennis in so many directions. Here I will call out how Seth, more or less single-handedly, identified the financial resources and spearheaded the city's investment in the resurfacing of more than a dozen of its public tennis courts. A decades-long labor of love. Applause. The rivers of French and tennis periodically join and flow together for a while. Soon after zeroing in on tennis, Seth became infatuated with Yannick Noah. At age 15, Seth got a photo of himself with Yannick, which Seth may still keep under his pillow. Helena will have to tell us. Seth came very close to having dreadlocks. This is true. Who knows, he might still have had them tonight. So, as Seth turns 50, 4 central characters share his stage. First, daughter Laurel, a miracle in Seth's life and mine. What an exciting young woman, abundantly curious about how the world works, deeply troubled by how much is wrong, puzzled by the passivity of her elders, one more, yep, determined to find ways to fix the bad and enjoy the good. Laurel is flourishing right now, and it is a treat for me to be a small part of her world. Seth is co-parenting Laurel. He had to fight harder for the opportunity than I did. Seth had been determined as a young adult not to recapitulate the co-parenting family structure he had grown up with. But life throws curveballs. And as the Rolling Stones song goes, you can't always get what you want. But then you create your own good fortune. Like me, he thoroughly relishes every bit of his co-parenting. Second, Helena, a wife who gets Seth, who loves him as he is. The roots of their remarkable compatibility, I think, are a limitless openness to adventure. Not many of us cavorted to Tahiti as soon as the COVID rules made this possible. A love of the beauty of nature, this marvelous retreat here in Murphy's, and especially a capacity for empathy, for getting into other people's shoes and understanding their needs better than they do themselves. Seth is a lucky guy. Third, brother David. I am equally proud of both of my sons. They are taking very different paths through life, but what is important to me is that each is listening to his own drummer. David and Seth will stay close, indeed probably grow closer, as they age from here. To everyone's delight, their 2 daughters are also very different from each other, have become incredibly close friends. And Claire is here tonight. I'm almost done. Fourth, Mother Liz. One never stops being a parent. Liz and I have provided 4 decades of amicable and complementary co-parenting. This is as good a time as any to acknowledge how much Seth has benefited from Liz's insistence on kindness as the bedrock of being a worthy human being. So my wish for you, Seth, is to preserve what you have built and keep building on it. You have such treasures in Laurel and Helena. You have such a cornucopia of friendships. May they all sustain you, and may you sustain all of them throughout your second half century.
Yeah.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. For those of you who don't know me, je suis Arne. I'll start in French for Seth. And ich heiße Arne. It's great to have had a chance to meet many of you, but I wanted to say something from the heart first. So first of all, thanks Seth and Helena, who's now sleeping, I'm sure, quietly. We'll try to all be quiet. But I was at Big Trees today. I went out for a couple hours after my work calls, and I was trying to take pictures of these big trees, right? The sequoias, these things are 200-300 feet tall, and I was getting frustrated, going, man, I can't get the damn tree in the frame, and it doesn't do it justice. And I was thinking, somehow I had an epiphany. I was like, this is how I couldn't describe in words enough how Seth is such a great friend. No matter what words you would try to choose, they would feel futile. So I just wanted to express that, Seth. You know, and if I had to start it at work, it would be 3 things, right? Like, what are the 3 things I want to tell you about Seth? And I want to leave you with, it would be, this guy's got so much energy, right? Michael and I were talking about this. We met him, and it's like it's coming out of the guy's body, you know? And, the second thing is, this guy's such a loyal and dedicated friend. I could tell you through thick and thin. Seth, you've always been there, great friend. And then you're a genuine person, too. That's the third thing, right? You get with Seth the genuine deal. So I will now leave the sentimental station, and we will now go to, I don't know if you guys heard how Seth and Helena met. I heard this secondhand, so I don't know. Show of hands for who of you were there when Seth and Helena met. Kim? Michael, very good. Seth was there, very good. So I understand there was somehow there was a wine bar involved. I'm guessing there was some good times leading up to the wine bar. And I think it went something like this. Seth, probably turning to Michael, said, "Oh my God, look at that blonde! Who is that blonde? She's so hot!" And he probably paced around doing this. And then I think Seth went over, probably started talking. And of course, he wouldn't just, find some circuitous route as much, go right up to Helena and say, "Hey, how are you? Want to have a drink?" And I imagine Helena probably had a slight accent, and Seth probably would have been, aware enough to say, "Where are you from?" And I can imagine it's Czech Republic, and he probably, hold on a minute, he probably went back to Michael looking for some coaching, and, "Oh my God, Michael, she's from the Czech Republic." Well, yeah, okay, Seth, calm down. Just go. And then I imagine after some good coaching and Kim probably providing some feminine balance perspective, Seth went back to Helena, and I think it probably went something like, "You're from the Czech Republic." And Helena probably said, "Can you point to it on the map?" And Seth said, "No, but I know where my apartment is." But okay, that was the roast. I was trying to bring it down from Rob's eloquent words, and I think I've succeeded. So with that, thanks, Seth, for having me.
And we need Seth for this last one here.
My sister got lucky, married a yuppie, took him for all he was worth. Now he's got nothing, pan in the oven. I can't decide which is worse. Not me, baby, I've got you to save me. Oh, you're so bad. Best thing I ever had, all of you, best thing I ever had. In a world gone mad, you're so bad. My sister's ex-husband can't get no loving, walks around dog-faced hurt. Now he's got nothing, pan in the oven. I can't decide which is worse, but not me, baby. I got you to save me. Oh, you're so bad. Yeah, you are, Arnie. Best thing I ever had. In a world gone mad, you're so bad. Oh, you're so bad. Best thing I ever had. In a world gone mad, you're so bad. Everybody, that wasn't enough. You got to give it up for Mr. Kent Brown, originally from Alabama, now making his home in San Francisco. Please give it up for Kent Brown.
Oh, thank you. Kindly.
Thank you so much. Oh, thank you. Happy birthday. Thank you.
Thanks for jamming with us.